Welcome back, everyone. This is GTA Failer. In our last video, we tackled the first Ken mission. It was called The Party. This video is about the second Ken mission. It's called Back Alley Brawl. In this cutscene, Ken and Tommy are discussing possible leads into who is responsible for that drug deal gone wrong way back in that opening cutscene. Note that the grandfather clock still says 10:10, and I want you to pay attention to two things Ken is going to say, the word limey and the phrase 20 keys of coke.
Okay, there's this limey, some music industry slimeball. Goes by the name of Kent Paul. Anyway, he's got his nose so far up most of Vice City's ass that if anybody knows the whereabouts of 20 keys of coke, it's this guy, all right? He's always at the
So Ken refers to this guy Kent Paul as a limey. Reading from Wikipedia, limey is a predominantly North American slang nickname for a British person. The word has been around since the mid-19th century. It's intended as a pejorative, although it's not commonly used today. The term is thought to have originated in the 1850s as lime juicer and was originally used as a derogatory word for sailors in the Royal Navy. It derives from the Royal Navy's practice of adding lemon juice or lime juice to the sailors' daily ration of watered-down rum in order to prevent scurvy. So, you wanted to insult somebody from the British Royal Navy, you called them a lime juicer because they need to put lime in their rum in order to prevent scurvy. That Royal Navy insult got kind of expanded to just be an insult against anybody British, and lime juicer got shortened to limey. So who is the limey that Ken Rosenberg is talking about? Well, his name is Kent Paul, and we'll have more to say about him in a future episode. But in any event, he is the manager of Love Fist, and he is from England. In fact, he's from Kent, England. So his real name is Paul, but everybody calls him Kent Paul because he's from the city of Kent, England. Obviously, that's Tommy on the left, and now we meet Kent Paul on the right. Three things I want you to pay attention to here. Kent saying bruv, Tommy saying 20 keys, and Kent saying chef come trumpet shifter.
Get another drink, bruv. Everybody's a comedian. Listen to me. I'm missing 20 keys and a lot of cash.
Drugs, mate? It's a mugs game.
What do you know about it?
Oi, well, what I was coming to was, there's some chef come trumpet shifter who deals that kitchen of a hotel on Ocean Drive. He's been looking real pleased with himself lately. You could go and check him out.
So Kent said another drink, bruv, B-R-U-V. I had to look this word up, and I've learned it's an informal British word for brother or friend. So like I mentioned, this mission is all about getting information about who maybe stole the money, stole the drugs from that opening cutscene of the game. In the first cutscene of this video, Ken talked about 20 keys of coke, and keys was subtitled K''S. And here in this most recent cutscene over in the Malibu, Tommy also references 20 keys of coke, but here the word keys was subtitled K-E-Y-S. And they are both talking about 20 kilograms of coke, 20 kilos of coke. Again, the 20 kilos that were missing from the opening cutscene of the game. But I don't think that it should be pronounced key, like K-E-Y. I think it should be K, 20K of coke. K for kilo. If I say my salary is 50K, everybody knows I mean $50,000. K for kilo, K for thousand. So I think it should be said 20K of coke for 20 kilograms, 20 kilos. And Paul mentions that there's this chef who has seemed to be very pleased with himself and has more money maybe than a chef should. So perhaps the chef has some of the money that was stolen from us in that drug deal gone bad. So we go asking the chef questions. We end up killing the chef, taking his cell phone. Lance Vance makes an appearance. Remember, we haven't seen Lance since the very first cutscene with that drug deal gone bad. Lance was piloting the helicopter. Lance's brother Victor was in the helicopter, and Victor had the drugs. Victor was killed. Lance wants the drugs, wants revenge. Take a look at Tommy's feet floating above the ground there, a couple of inches. That's cool. The rest of this mission is pretty straightforward. Lance is going to give us a piece in order for us to kill the three chefs that are going to come after us in retaliation for killing their colleague. And then we just have to take Lance in his infernus and take him to the ammunition and then back to the hotel, the main safe house. Killing these chefs is totally optional, but we'll take them out here in this first vanilla attempt at this mission. The chef that we just killed, obviously this is going to be the last time we see him in this game, so we might as well read about him from the wiki while we have a chance to. At some point prior to late 1986, Leo Teal, that's the chef's name, began to work as a chef in Ocean Beach, Vice City, while also moonlighting as a hitman for Mr. Black. Mr. Black is going to be the telephone mission giver for us throughout this game. The Vice City Bureau of Investigation correctly suspect that Leo Teal has links to Mr. Black and works as a hitman, also believing him to be involved in the narcotics trade, but have been unable to tap Leo's telephone due to Teal being a communications expert. Teal's police file describes his personal life as, quote, very complicated, and he is involved in, quote, dubious practices with Moesha, who is suspected to be a prostitute or escort, and a manatee. Ay, ay, ay. It's like that character from The Simpsons. As well as interior designer and restaurant owner Eugene. So we don't know anything about Eugene other than the fact that it's a male, and Leo Teal is male. And so this brings us back to that one last thing I asked you to pay attention to in the cutscene over in the Malibu Club, where Kent Paul referred to the chef as a chef cum trumpet shifter. Okay, so first of all, CUM oftentimes in Rockstar games would have like a dirty connotation, but actually that's not what it means. Like CUM in this case is a legitimate word. It's not graphic or anything like that, and it's pronounced coom, like KOOM, but it is spelled CUM, just like you saw in the subtitles, and it just means with. It's a fancy word, a fancy Latin way of saying with. Reading from dictionary.com, here's a sample sentence. My garage cum workshop is well equipped. So it's a garage, but it's also a workshop. Garage cum workshop. Garage with workshop. And probably you've heard of people graduating cum laude or summa cum laude with honors, with praise. So that's it. So coming back to Kent Paul referring to Leo Teal as chef cum trumpet shifter, chef cum trumpet shifter. I have no idea what a trumpet shifter is. Maybe it has something to do with the chef's sexual preferences. I'm really not sure. I looked up trumpet shifter online. The only references I found are to this cutscene right here in Vice City. But anyway, chef cum trumpet shifter, chef as well as trumpet shifter, whatever that means. As you can see, passing this mission awards $200 and also gives you a cell phone that's required to progress the story. The wiki says that passing this mission makes it so the pistol is purchasable at ammunition, but that isn't true. The pistol was purchasable at ammunition from the very first moment that we had control of Tommy in this game, and also the Uzi was available at ammunition as well. There, I was just showing you that I'm reloading the same save file from the very beginning of this game. I didn't save after passing that mission. I'm not going to keep showing you me reloading, but I just continue to reload until I get the one challenge completed for each video, each mission. And so we're not there yet, but I do want to demonstrate a speed strat here. If you happen to be on a motorcycle of some kind, you can hop off, and if you land in the pink marker, that will instantly start the cutscene into the Malibu. And also your motorcycle will be nicely placed right in front of the Malibu, even though it might have been sent careening off into the distance. In this attempt, I'm basically showing you the speed strats of this mission as best as I can do them. I'm not very talented in terms of speedrunning, but anyway, here's the basic idea is hopefully you've got a motorcycle and you come right here through the alley and you just plow right into the chef and kaboom. Totally avoid the hand-to-hand or hand-to-hand combat or shooting the chef, both of which are slower than just running into him. But it's weird. This cutscene here is going to show Tommy out of breath, as if he had been engaged in fisticuffs with the chef, even though there's no reason for Tommy to be out of breath. And you can skip this cutscene, which you should if you're trying to speedrun. And then I just got totally turned around, demonstrating my inability to speedrun absolutely the wrong way. All right, let's go other way. So you ignore the three other chefs because you don't need to kill them, and then you can get to the Infernus faster than Lance. And then I backed up trying to be real fancy, which was risky because I could have run Lance over. But the idea is if you can get there fast enough, you can back up and save Lance a few steps of running. Every second counts. And then you make a beeline back to the hotel. There's a little shortcut you can take that kind of goes underground into like a little mini mall down there. And at some point, once you're close enough to the hotel, the game takes over and there's an unskippable cutscene. One thing I should also mention is that passing this mission unlocks the next Ken mission, which is called Jury Fury, and that will be the subject of the next video. Also note that at the end of this cutscene, we can see Lance making a U-turn here and then just heading south on Ocean Drive. That's this road right here. And I want to point that out here because in one of my attempts later in this video, I'll make it so that poor Lance isn't able to do that. And I think he just blinks out of existence because he can't take his standard route. There are other options besides engaging in fisticuffs with the chef. If you can shoot him without waking him up, you can still pass this part of the mission. So there we go. Sniped his head clean off and pick up the cell phone. So now I'm going to fail in a particular way. I'm going to get near Lance's white Infernus here and then shoot this guy. He probably deserved it, or at least he'll do stuff later in the game for which he deserves this. And the reason that I wanted to kill Lance in this way is that it allows me to grab this unique vehicle. Remember, I'm going to try to get all the unique vehicles, at least the ones that I think are reasonable to get. So if you kill Lance in that way, you can grab his unique colored Infernus. You can't find a white Infernus on the streets, and you can't take an Infernus into the pay and spray and ever get it to become white at the end. So I failed the mission, stored Lance's uniquely colored Infernus down in my garage in the far south, and here, and then I saved the game and then just started anew. So I've got that white Infernus down south, and now we're just playing around with the chef to see how good his eyesight is. You saw that I walked, I don't know, 15 feet away from him, and he lost interest and rudely just went right back to his spot and got back on the phone without a care in the world. Come on, I'm tough, I'm intimidating. So he behaves exactly the same whether I'm on foot or in a car. If I'm within the radius, he comes after me. But here, I discovered that he only comes after me if he can get in a straight line to my driver's side door. So if I back up a little bit, then he says, now I know how to solve this problem, and he yanks me out. So rude. Fists ready. Ouch. I think I need to go refill my health. Okay, so now what's he going to do? Because my driver's side door is blocked, so he has no way. He's not all that smart. He can't figure out to just yank me out on the passenger side. So I'll help him out here. I'll start driving around a little bit to expose my driver's side door. And we'll see what happens. I think I'm actually going to end up on fire. You can see how damaged this vehicle is. So there we go. All right, so is he going to pull me out? No, he recognizes my car is really in trouble. I'm in trouble, but we're both in trouble, actually. Back Alley Brawl is one of a handful of missions where Tommy is gifted a certain amount of ammo from a certain weapon. You can see there that we had 20 rounds of this pistol, 12 plus 8. And how many do we have now after this cutscene where Lance Vance gives us some ammo? Well, now we have 54. So we went from 20 to 54. Turns out Lance gives you 34 pistol rounds. Okay, so here I decided to try to blow up Lance's vehicle like right before he got in. I didn't quite get there in time. It's almost blown up, but he's in a smoking car, and oh, the chefs are still here. I thought they had given up. So I get in, which triggers Lance to talk about, like the tutorial over at Ammunition, but it's like, come on, Lance, I'm getting triple team here. I could use a hand. Why don't you come out of the car and help me out? Okay, so look out. Oh, getting hacked while I'm on the ground. I didn't think I could get hurt while I was on the ground. Okay, so we're just going to shoot Lance's car one more time, see if he's inclined to get out of a vehicle that's on fire, see what happens to the chefs. So they still come after me. They do at the moment, but as soon as I fail the mission, I killed Lance, and the chefs don't care anymore. So next we're going to find out what happens if you destroy Lance's Infernus before he gets there. Unsurprisingly, we're going to fail for destroying the Infernus, but surprisingly, Lance does not disappear from existence the moment that the Infernus is blown up. A lot of fixed characters inside of specific missions, they'll just blink out of existence the moment you fail the mission. And here Lance is just walking around like an ordinary NPC. This is a rare sighting of an important character in Vice City just roaming the streets. So I punched him in the back of the head. He shot me a couple of times. I probably deserved that. But now he's going to shoot me a few more than a couple of times. This is not a commensurate response, Lance. And then I think he's coming after me, but he's not coming very far. He's just like getting within a certain distance, so his shots are more accurate, I guess. And so then we'll go around the corner and we'll test Lance's sense of object permanence. Like, does he still remember me when he loses sight of me? And no, all is forgiven. And Lance has no memory of getting punched in the back of the head a couple of times by Tommy. And now we'll just do a little more experiments. And of course, the cops get involved. And now Lance is not attacking me. I think it's because I have a 1-star wanted level. So I've seen this kind of behavior before, like back in GTA 3, where, like a gang member will come after you, but if you have a wanted level, they won't. Okay, Lance is gone. Mission accomplished. Next, I wanted to find out what would happen if I take Lance's Infernus and just drive it away before he gets there. So first we're going to hop in. This is also the sprinting tutorial. It says you can only sprint short periods before becoming tired. Well, they didn't realize we were going to do all paramedic before we started this mission. Okay, so Lance does not follow. He just stops. You can see his fixed yellow square there. So then I left the Infernus a couple of blocks south of me and ran over here on foot, and Lance does not recognize me. I stood right in front of him. What happens if we punch him? Oh, that's satisfying to have Lance just stand here and take it. Get some. Okay, so then I'm going to run back, bring Lance's car, look at him on the left-hand side. So then he wakes up when you're in the radius, but then he gives up again once you're outside of the radius. And then the last thing I wanted to see was, could I run over stupid Lance with his stupid, precious white Infernus? Come on, Lance, get in. There you go. Done. He's done. He ran towards a moving vehicle and got his stupid self run over. Now we're going to shoot the chef from afar. It wakes him up. He comes to the edge of his circle and then goes back. He says, the threat has been neutralized because I went to the edge of the circle. And then we'll shoot him a few more times. He's not going to wake up anymore. He's just going to stand there taking these bullets while he's on his phone call. He only comes after me on the first bullet, but you can kill him from quite a bit farther away than his radius allows. And here's that speed strat I was telling you about. If you can get to the Infernus quick enough, you can back up and save Lance just a few steps to get out to the road. So now we get to my final attempt at this mission, and I'll tell you my challenge. You'll see the speed strat here hopping off the motorcycle, and it gets placed very neatly right at the bottom of the stairs of the Malibu Club. So my challenge is to pass this mission without actually harming the chef myself. I will not punch the chef. I will not shoot the chef. I will not do anything directly to the chef. But we're going to get some police officers to do my dirty work, which is why I shot that officer right there. And while we're showing most of this mission, some of it's going to be in fast forward because it takes a long time to wait for the police officers to do my business here. So we're going to wake up the chef, and then I'll kind of fast forward through some of the parts of getting the police officers here and then waiting for them to shoot the chef on my behalf. So while we do that, let's read a bit from the wiki about the mission giver for this mission and the last mission. Ken Rosenberg is a character in GTA appearing as the deuteragonist in Vice City. So deuteragonist is not the protagonist, which is obviously Tommy here, but the second most important person who's on the side, the most important person who's on the side of the protagonist. So Ken Rosenberg clearly helping Tommy, and he's the most helpful person in this game to Tommy Vercetti. So that makes him the deuteragonist. And we'll just wait for these officers and the chef and me to line up. It's like a solar eclipse, kind of. We need the chef perfectly in between me and the police officers. Okay, from the wiki, Ken Rosenberg is also a main character in San Andreas, and he is mentioned in Vice City Stories. In all appearances, Ken Rosenberg is voiced by the famous Will Fitchner, or Bill Fitchner. And so we'll just read from the wiki about Bill Fitchner, born 1956 in Long Island, New York. Let's see here. All right, so I just need to go get that cell phone now that the chef is dead. We'll take that, yoink. And the only thing I can think of better than having the police, oh, this is going to be awkward here because the police car is there and there's police here. So what's going to happen as these police walk through my cutscene? Look out, Lance, look out. Oh, all right, all good. So, so one thing that's better than having a police officer kill one chef is to have a police officer kill 4 different chefs. So that's the rest of the challenge. We want all of these chefs dead, even though it's optional. Notice that police car right there in the cutscene has been despawned. Okay, so again, I'll fast forward through a lot of the waiting, but you'll see all 3 of the kills on the chefs. Coming back to the wiki about Bill Fitchner, beginning his acting career in 1987 as Josh Snyder in the soap opera As the World Turns, Fitchner has an extensive filmography including Contact, Heat, Armageddon, Go, Equilibrium, Black Hawk Down, The Perfect Storm, The Longest Yard, Crash, Ultraviolet, The Dark Knight, and The Lone Ranger. He has received a Screen Actors Guild Outstanding Performance Award for his role in Crash, and a Best Acting Ensemble Award from Broadcast Film Critics' Choice. Yeah, real famous guy. In addition to his video game voiceover appearance here in Vice City and a couple of other GTA games, he also voiced Logan in the video game Turok and Sandman in the video game Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. So the rest of this mission is pretty straightforward, even with the 2-star wanted level. We are going to run into police officers that come out of a road here to my right. They are programmed in for another mission, I forget, but it's actually, I don't think they're programmed in specifically for that other upcoming mission, but they're programmed in to just come out of that, that particular road there whenever we have 2 stars or maybe more than 2 stars. So the other thing I wanted to see is what would happen if I shot all of the tires, like if I gave Lance 4 popped tires, because he's going to get into this car right after the cutscene or during the cutscene, and then he's going to try to make a U-turn and then head south on the main road, Ocean Drive there. And so I just want to see how he does. How does he handle driving in poor conditions with a vehicle with 4 pop tires. So I didn't want to get pulled over by this officer, so we have to send him down for the count. And then I will drive just a tiny bit on my 4 pop tires, and then we'll see how Lance does in the cutscene. Oh, skidding to an angled stop there. And now we should see him make a U-turn to the right, and we should see him behind us. He's like in the camera. We should see him off in the distance there going south. Nothing. I don't know where he went. I looked around for him. He just disappeared. He could not make that U-turn with his 4 popped tires. Oh, poor Lance. In the rest of this video, we will refill our health and then take a phone call on our brand new cell phone, which is obviously a call meant for the chef, not for us. But anyway, we'll take that phone call, and then we will refill our armor and head over to the L marker on the map in order for us to be ready for the next Ken mission in the next video.
Leo, I think we got a buyer for Diaz's merchandise. Gotta give him a ring, man. Set up a deal, you know?
So here's the person talking about Diaz's merchandise. So that's a reference to the opening cutscene in the game where the Vance brothers came in a helicopter to meet us and Ken, and we had money, and we were exchanging it for drugs, and then that deal was an ambush, and somebody came and shot lots of folks at the deal and took the money and took the drugs. And that somebody, we haven't learned just yet, but that somebody was Ricardo Diaz. He is the one who set up that ambush. And so this person calling was saying we have a buyer for Diaz's merchandise. So that's the drugs that Diaz stole in that opening cutscene. So it all connects. So we'll save here. And if you have anything you'd like to add, anything you'd like to say about Back Alley Brawl, throw a note in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.